happy Friday. It's the last Friday of September. I just realized that I'm looking at the calendar that Wednesday is October 1st. So how are you? I am doing fine. Plans have changed this afternoon. I was planning on sewing this morning and I went in to start sewing, and yesterday I had picked from our garden the green beans that were ready, and I got 2 pints, and I told my friend Shar that I'm gonna keep them in the refrigerator for a day or two to see if I get any more. Well, this morning she messaged me. Her green beans have just been overproducing and she is just sick of canning, and they've been eaten fresh out of the refrigerator. She had a big bag full that she's been fixing at each supper meal. But she said that she still had green beans if I wanted some. Well, I'm not going to turn down free food. So I said, sure. And she said she would pick them. And I says, well, then just let me know and then we'll stop by and get them. So she got me almost a half a bushel. So this afternoon after lunch, I've been snapping green beans, and from hers I got roughly 9 cups, and from ours I got 4 cups. So I got the pressure canner warming the jars up. I got the hot water on the stove going. My ball book is out, and I just do the raw pack where you just once the jars are ready, you just put in as much green beans as you can stuff in there with a 1-inch head space from the top. Then I'll put the hot water in over it, and I'll take a knife to debubble any bubbles in it and put the lids on and put it back in the canner for the 20 minutes that it takes for it to process. So that's all right. I'm hoping, if I counted right, we should get close to, I'm hoping 8 pints, because I had 2, and a pint is 2 cups if I have to stuff them, so it might be 6, but 6 more is better than no more. So, and we're like her, we have a lot of green beans just for 2 people. But like I said, I won't turn down free food like that. So anyways, I just want to pop on real quick, say hey, and I'll come back when I get things all situated in their processing and chit chat for a minute. Hey friends, so welcome back. I got 7 pints, 2 that I picked from our little garden, and what my friend Shar gave us ended up being 5 pints with probably less, maybe a 1/4 cup of little bits. I have to play with the phone here, I guess. So now I gotta wait for it to come up to pressure. I have an electric Presto canner, so it will beep when I need to go put the regulator on. So I'm gonna hop on real quick while that's doing that, and I sure hope they all come out okay. That's one thing about when they say head space, you know, I have to get the tape measure out and go from, make sure there's an inch and that it's packed really tight and all that good stuff. So I'm not a very good judgment of that, but Mr. Jerry's out mulching actually all the leaves up. And so, but I wanted to show you, we went into town today to our craft store. Mr. Jerry needed some pipe cleaners for something, I don't know what. So instead of running all the way to Walmart, we went to our local craft store downtown. And of course it was lunchtime and there was not a spot to be had. We did find one that was maybe half block away. It was in a 15-minute parking place. So we went into our craft store, excuse me, and he of course found his pipe cleaners right away, and I was looking for plastic ornaments that were 3.15 inches. I'm going to have to order them on Amazon because nobody is going to have them quite yet, because I'm trying something new on an ornament that is crocheted. So, but while I was there and he was there, he ran into a co-worker. She had just retired, and so they were off chit-chatting, so I just wandered the store. We were probably there 15-20 minutes, and I'm slowly walking up and down all the aisles and everything. And of course, lo and behold, I come across two new cups. So I'm going to show you those cups. This first one, it's a 16 ounce mug, and it is our fall mug. It was $5.99. It was from Global Designs Collections, and it's just called Harvest Blessings. And this is embossed. So it's got a good size handle for Mr. Jerry if he ever uses it. So I got that one, and I showed him this one, and he's right. No, I don't think I have any Halloween ones. So they had a Halloween one, and this is called, it's from Spooky Street. This one is 17 fluid ounces. Like the light just kind of acted funny. See if, yeah, whatever. And he says, well, that's no mug. He says, that's a soup mug. But it's microwave, dishwasher safe. This one was $4.99, and it's from the same place. It has a pumpkin with the kitty that says boo, boo, with a black handle. The inside is orange, and it's misshapen all around on purpose. And then on the inside it says, as I'm tilting it, now if he drinks it, everybody else would say it, too cute to spook. Right there, too cute to spook. So I got two new mugs. Now Mr. Jerry is making me a coffee mug, a wall coffee mug holder. What you doing, baby girl? And I told him, I kind of gave him some ideas that we both looked at, and so he's been building that. And I told him, I said, I don't want to see it. I want it to be a surprise. You know, I have an old baker's belly cabinet, pot belly cabinet, and I said I'd kind of like the era of everything, because that's kind of everything I've got around in that era. So he kind of knows that and everything. So he's been working on that, and then I'll pull all my mugs out, and it will hold, I think he said 24. And I'm going to pull all my mugs out. I don't have too many fall or Halloween, so that's not going to matter. I tend to have a lot of Christmas, of course. So normally what I do is I take care of when it's Christmas time after Thanksgiving, then I'll pull out all my Christmas mugs, and then all the others get put away. And the problem with that is last year we did that, and I am still missing 3 or 4 mugs, and we don't know where they are. I think that they're out with all the Christmas stuff. I think that there was a container that didn't get brought back in, but he says no. But anyway, so I'm going to go through the mugs, because I have mugs that I just don't use, and I'm just going to downsize and put them on the auction or whatever, Goodwill. And then like the harvest and the Halloween ones will only be out a short amount of time, and then the Christmas will be out, and then the regular mugs come back out. So he's been working on that. But the other thing is that in our bedroom, I want to do a jelly roll rug on my side of the bed. We do have a long runner there, But Jerry said, I'm surprised you don't make a jelly roll rug for yourself. And I says, well, I was tempted. So I did buy a jelly roll off from Amazon. And no, I'm not going to get to this for a while. This one is from that same company I got before called Tiny Spool and Company. This is called Merry Mermaid. It's 40 strips, 2.5 inches by 44, and it's 100% quilt cotton fabrics. And it says locally harvested American cotton. So, and I will probably just sew it like it is, but I'm not going to open it up, but I'm going to try to show you the colors. So this is going to be more of the vintage look that I did for our daughter and our son's wife, or as she's fondly called, our daughter-in-love. So, and then that's their label, but I think it's going to be really, really cute. And I did buy a seam guide. This is made to go, it has a magnet on the bottom, which you can't see, but this lifts up, and when it lifts up, the jelly roll goes right through it, because I saw one of the gals who sells hers have this, and this helps control. So it's just like this, and so you just set, this is your 1/4 inch seam is right in here, and so when the tube comes through, this will set right on top of it to keep it right next to it. So, and it's a strong magnet. So we'll see how that works. So I got those, and I did start sewing yesterday. I showed this on the book quilt. Now I have to do 24 of these, and I have to do 16 of these. So I was just starting to snowball the corner. So I snowballed the corner, and then I trimmed it down, and then I'll do the opposite sides. I will chain piece it all the way through, so all 24 pieces are done together. Then I'll clip the strings, and then I will trim it, and then I will rotate it and do this corner, and then I'll do this corner and trim everything. And then when they're all trimmed, then I'll open them up, and then I will cut off the excess so that the back will look like this. So that was my plan today until I got those free green beans. Like I said, I wasn't going to turn it down. And my daughter, for 1 year for Christmas, I had asked for this. It's called a slotted trimmer. It's for, there's 2 trimmers in it, and it's for half square triangles, and there's 11 sizes. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's like this. So it's like that, and there is a line on there that tells you what line you put on your seam that you just sewed, and then you measure it from the corner, and down at the bottom and top there is a line that will say right where your top and bottom should be, and then you just trim the sides, and then there's slots in it for those, what I call those little dog ears that tend to stick out. So, because this one has not been trimmed, but you'll get the gist idea. So like that, and then you can see that little excess, so I would trim that off. so it gives me more of a chance for the quilt to line up and come out like it should. So right now I'm just waiting for the pressure to build up in the pressure canner, and the Hertz truck is just pulled in next door. And once I hear the beeping, then I'll go and put that regulator on, and then it will do what it needs to do. It will beep again when it gets up to pressure, and then it will stay at pressure for 20 minutes, and then it will tell me that it will beep again after 20 minutes, and then it's got to cool, and it cools a good hour and 20 minutes, and then it will beep series of beeps again to tell me when it's done. And then it has a safety gauge on it that has a little pop-up metal thing that until that thing pops down, it won't allow you to open it up, so you don't have any, you know, bad accidents with it. So, but other than that, it is weigh-in Friday, and I didn't lose, but I didn't gain. I just maintained. I was a little bummed out because I thought for sure I was going to lose again, and this morning the scales just didn't budge. And I told Mr. Jerry that's what I get for starting to walk again. He just laughed. Walked on the treadmill again last night, and then when we went into the craft store, I walked around there for 15-20 minutes, and then from the car to it and back. And I told my friend Lainey, I said, you know, this is how bad I know I am in being out of shape, is when my lower legs ache a little and I can feel the upper hip areas, you know, tense tight. And I said something to Jerry about that, and he goes, I'm not surprised. He says, but he says it will get better. It will get better. Just give it time. Don't give up on it. So I'm not going to give up on it. Now the man is, his idea is he's going to walk 7 days a week. I'm going to take Sundays off. We would normally walk on the treadmill tonight at 7, but that's the time our grandson Landon has football. So that means that I need to walk before then, and he wants pizza tonight. So I'm going to try to make Nikki Gets Fit's 2 ingredient dough, which really is 3 between this, the Greek yogurt, the flour, and the baking powder, I think it is, or baking soda. It's one of the two. It's probably baking powder. And it's supposed to make 2 pizzas, and I said to him, I said, okay, I said, this is pizza. I says, but I want to try this. Are you willing to try this? And so he read it, and he said yes. But I'm going to do what her suggestion is that I'm going to par bake the crust first for so long. So she says if you do it, just, you know, make it and put everything on it and bake it. The dough is still a little doughy. So we're going to start, and I'm going to try to par bake it first, put all the toppings on them, and then pop them back in for the recommended time, and we'll see how that comes out. So, and if that doesn't work out, we got chili. So, but, and I got Miss Nala, who just went to sleep right down here at the foot of the camera. So I hope you all are doing well. I hope that if you are on a journey of your own, a weight loss journey, is going well. And if it isn't, hang on, it will get better. And we all have to have that mindset that, you know, I've got to do this. Sometimes we sit there as a little toddler who has a fit because you don't want to do, but sometimes you don't have a choice, and you have to just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try, and it will get better. And when you have people in doing this with you, and you can talk to them in private, and you know both of you have got each other's backs, and there's no condemnation, no shame, no nothing. Whatever day that you had, that person doesn't judge you on it, and you don't judge them on it, and that's what you need. We all have our family and spouses, or you just have somebody in your life that you can have that, but sometimes you need somebody who also understands what it's like to have to change things up and to start from ground zero. I talked to our son last night, and I was telling him about, you know, starting up on the treadmill again, and I said, and don't laugh, and I told him, you know, for 7 minutes, and he just said, we all had to crawl to learn to walk. And I said, but not everybody thinks that way. And he goes, but there's a lot of you-know-what's out there. He says, we all have to start someplace, basically. And so he's right. I mean, when I look back 5 years ago when I lost the 63 pounds, you know, I see the pictures, I see how thin my face and neck was. I remember how well I felt. I remember how many steps I was getting. I never could get 10,000 steps. I was still at the point, but it was close. It was close. But I was not a daily 10,000 stepper. And so I went and bought myself one of those pedometers or whatever, and I got it clipped on my pocket, and it's made to that, it's heavy duty, it's made not to fall off, and you can clip it to your shoes, your whatever, and it just counts everything. And I think that's a start for me, because I just don't need to have for me, I don't want a Fitbit or anything like that, that every time I move, I look down, my heart rate pops up, or my pulse, or the blood pressure, or whatever it does. I don't need all that. I just want to know steps. I just want to start at steps. And so that's why I did what I did. So it's just one small change, isn't it? One small daily habit. One small thing of when he said, I'm going to go in town, that normally I would sit there and say, go ahead and go, and I would just sit on my rump. But instead, I thought, no, that will give you extra steps. So it's just those small baby steps. So we just need to remind ourselves, including me, what can I do differently today than yesterday? And if it means just one little thing, if it means that, for me, I bought the little step counter, that's something. The other thing as far as foods go is I don't have a snack. Now maybe I don't want a snack. Or if I go out with family or friends and everybody's having ice cream, I can sit there and still have ice cream, but maybe I don't need the big thing of it. Maybe I can get the smallest cup size or baby size or whatever. I mean, even DQ has the minis. They're still high points, but you know what? A mini is better than nothing, or an ice cream cone is better than sitting there and getting upset because you feel like you're being left out. But in the big picture, you're not being left out. The only way we're going to be left out is if we don't take care of ourselves. so that we can be here to celebrate those magical moments with our children and our grandchildren and friends. So y'all, I'm going to let you go because I'm hearing the, it's beeping. I got to go put that on. So thanks for listening, and always thanks for being here. And I will not be on this weekend. There will be no extra videos popping up or anything. So I will be back Monday. Y'all stay strong. Y'all stay safe. Love yourself a little bit more today than you did yesterday. Till we can meet again. See you soon.